Hello and welcome back to No Bullshit. Today we return to talking about the much discussed and usually detested Captain Marvel. I initially thought this topic was pretty much dead after her movie came out back in March and her appearance in Avengers Endgame last month came and went too, but now Captain Marvel has just started to roll out its final release on Blu-ray, DVD, and streaming services coming soon. And with this home viewing release on its way, well, it seems to have sparked its own little controversy now too. And it's brought us back to square one almost as well, showing us just how terrible, vile, and unlikable Captain Marvel truly is all over again. In fact, with the release of a new deleted scene from the movie, along with the upcoming DVD, well, Captain Marvel is actually starting to look even worse, if that's even possible at this point. The deleted scene basically sees Captain Marvel attacking a biker guy, who's actually not as bad as he seems. Regardless, Captain Marvel threatens him pretty quickly, and this has led many to say that she's basically a villain at this point, or even an SJW villain. Fortunately for Marvel, this was just a deleted scene from the movie, and they were smart enough not to put the whole entire thing in the final product. But still, regardless, people are looking back on it now, and it does show that many were right about Captain Marvel all along. And then there's a whole other crowd on the SJW side who are still defending their beloved SJW feminist hero, even saying that this scene is her fighting toxic masculinity, whatever that means. We'll get to an article all about that BS soon too, but first, let's go over the deleted extended scene beat by beat so we're on the same page before we move forward and you guys can see what everyone is talking about. Now, I can't show the whole video here, but we're going to go over some pictures and I'll walk you through it step by step. You see, things start off with Captain Marvel looking at a map outside some stores near downtown Los Angeles in the setting of the mid-90s when this movie takes place. Apparently, Captain Marvel just crash landed on Earth and now she's trying to figure out where to go and what to do next. Right away, a guy on a motorcycle rolls up next to her. The guy jokingly says, "Nice scuba suit," on the account of Captain Marvel's getup being a blue, skin-tight, and waterproof looking thing or something. It does look like scuba gear. Then after this joke comment, the biker even offers to give Captain Marvel a ride. Not really seeming like that bad of a guy, right? He's trying to help her out even. But his next move is slightly questionable, as he jokingly asks Captain Marvel to smile for him. The biker says he's offering to help her, so the least she could do is give him a smile. And this of course is a big FU the movie makers are giving to the fans right here. Many people in the real world commented on how Captain Marvel looked bland and boring, and perhaps she needed to smile more if she wants to be more likable. So this prompted the producers at Marvel to double down and say screw you, and make this line happen in this scene. And not only that, but now they're saying that it's toxic masculinity to ask girls to smile at all in the first place. And this part in this line in the scene just seems off to me too. Like, no one is going to really say shit like this in the real world. And even if they did, it's not really the end of the world either, like how the social justice warriors behind this would have you believe. Next is the part where Captain Marvel goes full-on villain because after getting asked to smile, she offers the biker guy a handshake instead, which she quickly turns into a power play. Captain Marvel lights up her hand with her cosmic powers, which brings the biker to his knees. She then threatens to take his entire hand off if he doesn't give her his jacket and motorcycle. Basically, Captain Marvel robs the guy because he asked her to smile, God forbid. And this all doesn't sound very heroic or likable at all for Captain Marvel to me. Sounds like Captain is a bully who uses her power to threaten weaker beings so she can steal from them. Now just imagine if another hero like say Superman, well, what if he was in this kind of position? Needless to say, Superman would never use his powers to intimidate a human like this. And Supes would also never threaten to tear off some guy's hand over a comment that he doesn't like. Or how about comparing this scene to a different kind of movie with a similar premise though? Terminator 2 Judgment Day has a similar scene to this actually, but there are some noteworthy and major differences to it too. In T2, we also see a main character travel to and land in the 1990s version of Los Angeles. And then also, like with Captain Marvel, the Terminator initially runs into a biker and decides he wants their clothes and motorcycle. Terminator's approach is much different than Captain Marvel's though, and it's done in a way that makes their character still seem like a heroic, well-meaning, and possibly a good guy character. You see, in Terminator 2, the Terminator, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger of course, well, he just simply walks into a biker bar, finds a guy who's the same size as him, and then he politely asks him for his clothes. Sure, you could say Arnold coming in naked and all ripped up is a little intimidating, but he certainly didn't grab the guy and threaten to take his hand off for no reason, like Captain Marvel. No, Arnold just straight up tells the guy, "Give me your clothes." But this prompts the biker to laugh in his face, and then the biker even starts a conflict when he puts out his cigar right in Arnold's chest. Then then, admittedly, Arnold gets into a much worse and much more brutal fight with the biker and his friends at that bar. But since they started the fight and they instigate the violence in all instances, Arnold still comes off as a possible good guy in the end here. While on the other hand, with Captain Marvel, she's the one who started the violence. She threatened to cut a man's hand off over words, and then she robs the guy afterwards. And that's why this deleted scene of hers makes the character look so bad. Not to mention Captain Marvel is a sort of pro-social justice warrior villain now, seemingly attacking men for being men. And because her and the movie's producers have some sort of hate boner and are trying to attack supposed toxic masculinity, which is just their fancy $10 word used to hate on men. Toxic masculinity is just anti-male hatred. Make no mistake, guys. Next, let's finally get to that pro-Captain Marvel side I mentioned earlier. IndieWire.com jumped in on this story to white knight Captain Marvel with their article called "Captain Marvel Triggers Fanboys with Extended What No Smile Scene, Proving Its Point," with the subtitle saying, "Outraged male fans protested the clip's criticism of toxic masculinity by revealing some toxic masculinity of their own." Goddamn. Sounding like 2014 Anita Sarkeesian here. They're basically saying everything is toxic masculinity and you have to call it all out everywhere. And in a way, that's true because according to SJWs like this, everything male and everything we do is toxic because their worldview says men are bad and women are good. No matter what the characteristics of either gender, men can be doing good things, but they're still bad. Like that biker who was offering Captain Marvel help. And on the flip side, women can do bad things, but are still good. Like how Captain Marvel threatened to take that guy's hand off, but somehow she's still a good guy. This is why SJWs support evil type heroes like Captain Marvel, even when she acts evil instead of good, which is what these superheroes are supposed to strive for, right? Now, one might argue that Captain Marvel is a sort of anti-hero, but I really don't see that subtlety at play here at all. I just see an SJW hero who went a little too far with the male bashing, and when Captain Marvel got called out for it, she and her supporters, like these IndieWire writers, they are of course doubling down, like how all SJWs do, but really, they shouldn't. It would be pretty easy for them to just hide behind the fact that this scene was cut and didn't appear in the final movie, at least not the whole version of it. If I were them, I would say it was cut for a reason, and admittedly, Captain Marvel might have went too far here, but no. Instead, the SJWs are defending this character's heinous actions, and also, in classic liberal fashion, they are attacking the fans and calling us toxic in the process. Perfect. Oh well, let's go ahead and read on in this article anyway, and see what else they have to say. A Twitter troll's outrage is never spent, it seems. Fanboys across Twitter shed many fanboy tears about a deleted scene that Marvel Studios released to promote the June home entertainment release of Captain Marvel. It's an extended and alternate version of a scene already in the movie, in which Captain Marvel has landed on 1990s Earth and is reading a map to find her way around Los Angeles, when a testosterone-addled jerk on a motorcycle pulls up next to her and catcalls her. He even asks, "What, no smile?" He also offered to give her a ride and help her, but the guy conveniently leaves this out. In this version of the scene, the captain offers him a handshake, demonstrates her iron grip, and asks for his bike lest he should lose his hand. He quickly relents. It plays a lot like any scene from the Terminator franchise, where an outsider to present-day Earth uses some aggressive negotiation tactics to get what they need, but with the satisfying feminine twist of Captain Marvel both getting what she needs and putting some toxic masculinity in its place. Wow, this IndieWire guy actually compared this to Terminator 2, or not Terminator 2, but Terminator also. But as I went over before in detail, the presentation of Terminator is much better and still possibly heroic. Not to mention, most Terminators are kind of anti-heroes, unless IndieWire is comparing Captain Marvel directly to the evil Terminators. Either way though, it's pretty clear they don't want Captain Marvel to be a villain or anti-hero, even though this deleted scene and other things indicate otherwise. Fortunately for IndieWire, they just offer a loose mentioning of Captain Marvel being like Terminator, and without much detail that sounds kind of okay, but as I explained extensively already, the Terminator comparison isn't a good look for Captain Marvel. Then there's the ways this guy, the writer, tries to belittle and hand-wave the opinions of many Marvel and superhero fans, calling us trolls and making fun of our fanboy tears. And those are just ways the writer is trying to demean our character. It's almost an ad hominem, being used to make light of our complaints. The thing is though, we're not alone on this at all. Many have thought the same kinds of things about Captain Marvel, and that includes casual fans and normies too. So I guess IndieWire wants to pretend it's just fanboys in their mother's basements who take issue with Captain Marvel. That way, the criticism of her seems less important. And the dishonesty of this article is only getting started too. The way he describes the biker from Captain Marvel's deleted scene is a little unfair too. Sure, the guy was being a cocky jerk, but that's not always bad or evil or so-called toxic masculinity. In fact, another Marvel character, Iron Man, acts this way all the time. And for him, it comes off as lighthearted, sarcastic, and all in good fun. But now, all because the biker in Captain Marvel asks for a smile, he's some sort of testosterone-addled jerk who catcalled her. Please. The guy offered her a ride, he wanted to help. Then he asked for a smile. And sure, that second part is borderline offensive, but it hardly warrants Captain Marvel's overreaction. If you threaten to take a man's hand off because someone asked you to smile, then you've got issues, not him. But regardless, IndieWire says Captain Marvel put toxic masculinity in its place, thus showing that they think anything male is toxic. Basically, they hate men. So of course, certain outraged male viewers took to Twitter to vent their own toxic masculinity in solidarity with the biker dude and his bruised hand. One tweet read, "Man, it is so empowering to watch a woman with superpowers physically hurt and then threaten to break a man's hand and steal his motorcycle and jacket because he said something rude to her. So empowering. Empowerment." Another, apparently upset by his perceived notion that the Marvel Cinematic Universe is, rather than being studiously apolitical corporate juggernaut, a mouthpiece for left-wing activists, added, "We'll get a deleted scene from Endgame where the Hulk is getting ready to go liberate Palestine, while Captain America is beating up protesters outside of Planned Parenthood." And well, those tweets are actually pretty funny and on point. They're sarcastic, of course, and I obviously don't see Marvel going that far with Hulk or Captain America, actually. But if Captain Marvel is any indication, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is certainly getting more woke, political, and SJW influenced. And now, hopefully, perhaps, they'll take a hint after all the Captain Marvel, Brie Larson outrage and step back a little bit. I think and hope Marvel will take the hint, and I predict they will slowly back away from Captain Marvel and her SJW silliness that's become so controversial. Kinda like how they backed away from that character in Avengers Endgame, which barely featured Captain Marvel at all. It's fascinating that a certain very secure, social media obsessed contingent of male fandom, empowered by being given both a platform and relative anonymity, has appeared so very threatened by Captain Marvel, even taking to Rotten Tomatoes weeks in advance of its release to preemptively lower its audience score. The matter was serious enough that it prompted a change. Rotten Tomatoes has since announced that only verified ticket buyers will be able to rate a film upon its release. Avail yourself below of the extended scene that has apparently threatened the masculinity of so many. Another classic social justice warrior trick here, being trotted out by this garbage article from IndieWire. First of all, no one is threatened by Captain Marvel. Men aren't threatened by SJWs. That's baloney. Really, that's just the angle these radical leftists come up with, to try and make the strong people who stand up to them, like us, look like we're some sort of scaredy cats who are afraid of strong women or something. That's bullshit though. We're not threatened by Captain Marvel at all. We just don't like her. We don't like her movie, and especially, we don't like the actress playing her, Brie Larson. That's why the ratings of the movie went down on Rotten Tomatoes, by the way. It wasn't some fake, cheating, bogus review bombing, which is the excuse these left-wingers use every time one of their feminist SJW products fails. No, really, Captain Marvel was rated badly because people didn't like it, and also because people don't like the anti-male, pro-SJW villain which Brie Larson and Captain Marvel have become. What do you guys think? Does this deleted scene make Captain Marvel look even worse? Like some sort of SJW-inspired villain? And what do you think about IndieWire saying everything male is toxic? Comment your thoughts on everything below, and thanks for watching No Bullshit. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, and we'll see y'all next time.